When you play at the highest level, the smallest mistakes can make all the difference. Maybe the mouse bugged out, or maybe you greased your fingers again. Whatever it is, as an esport player, you don't forget such a fail so quickly. A single misclick can decide whether a player's name goes down in the history books, or is immortalized as a meme. Here are our top 10 misclicks in esports. Top 10. In 10th place, we have a tragic misclick by Alliance player Insania at the International. Imagine you are on stage at one of the most important matches of your life. You actually want to ban a certain champion, but then something goes wrong and you misclick. That's exactly what happened when Insania wanted to ban Gyrocopter and picked him instead. RNG couldn't believe his luck, but for Alliance it meant they had to completely change their plans for team comp and play with heroes they didn't really want. It must have been especially awkward for Insania, who probably still wonders to this day if they could have won several $1 million that day if he hadn't misclicked. Top 9. Let's move on to another misclick in Dota, which happened again at TI. It happened to player KYXY at TI3, and that was a while ago, but still we can remember how he denied himself and his team the win. In the elimination match, all he had to do was grab the Aegis with his Team Orange to win. It was the ultimate tilt that made them lose the game, even though Orange actually had a huge lead. This misclick became a meme, and if you make a mistake in Dota today, your teammates will gladly say that they had KYXY on their team. A misclick that happens over and over again. Top 8. In 8th place on our list, we have a misclick that at least didn't cost the team the win. In the summer of 2014, Wild Turtle played for TSM, and they went up against Dignitas in a best-of-5. After Dignitas won the first match, TSM had their backs against the wall in the second game. The game had turned into a 65-minute game, and the moment he clicked, 2 of his mates were dead. So Wild Turtle opted for a backdoor attempt, and as Lucian, he didn't need many more hits on the Nexus. But then, he was quickly surrounded by his opponents trying to defend their base. Instead of the final auto attack, he activated his ult, but it did no damage to the Nexus, and cost him precious seconds because he was caught in the animation. Fortunately, they were able to win the game shortly after. Top 7. 7th place goes to a StarCraft legend who was pretty tilted after the loss. We're talking about MMA's misclick, which Idra had not noticed. Idra is known for his skills in the game, but also for his rage quits should things not go so well. However, if he hadn't rage quitted this time and finished the game, he probably still would have won. In a 2011 MLG Pro Circuit game, Idra's opponent, MMA, clicked the wrong way and accidentally destroyed one of his own command centers. The casters knew what had happened, but Idra had no idea. He went into a bad fight and then thought he didn't have enough units left to win the match. MMA's misclick went unpunished, and probably Idra was much angrier when he found out.
What?
Top 6. One of the worst misclicks you can make in League of Legends is logging in the wrong champion. This includes Teemo, at least in pro play. Maybe it will change eventually, but Teemo has never been good in competitive matches. Kramer knew that too, of course, and that he suddenly picked him was clearly an oversight. In the end, though, it wasn't him who had to pay for his mistake, but his top laner. Teemo, who nobody wanted, was put on the weak side, and although he really didn't feed, he unfortunately didn't have any impact either. In the end, the little Yordle couldn't carry, and CJ lost the second match of the series. Top 5. In 5th place, we have a RuneScape streamer known for his hardcore Iron Man accounts, Bodhi. But then it was all over with one death. His challenge to not die had been running for 9 months in July 2020. But then there was a careless moment that messed up his tour. His in-game death wasn't epically caused by a dragon or other dangerous monster, however, but came about because he unfortunately made the mistake of going to the bathroom without making sure he was safe. When he came back from his session, he could only realize that the hard work of 9 months was undone. Even though it's not a misclick per se, he might have survived if he had clicked at all. Top 4. In 4th place on our list, we continue with a CS player who fired a warning shot. AZ. At IEM Katowice 2017, his team North had their backs against the Immortals. AZ was just calmly defending the A side, waiting for the right moment. Just as the bomb was being planted, AZ then saw his last opponent before he could see him. But then, out of nowhere, a shot came from AZ's gun, giving him away. This misclick must have been particularly unpleasant. After giving away his position, he was quickly found and taken down. Top 3. A heartbreaking misclick that provided an own goal lands in our third spot. An own goal is never nice, whether it's in soccer or Rocket League, but sometimes it just happens, and that's twice as bad, of course. That's still haunting Siki. The whole thing happened during overtime in the match between Veloci and Renegades. It was close, and if the Renegades had lost, it would have been over for them in the tournament. An own goal is always unpleasant, of course, but when it happens during an important tournament match, it's even more painful. But Rocket League is a fast-paced game, and sometimes you can't avoid the ball going the wrong way. Top 2. Second place on our list goes to Summit 1G. Of course, his legendary misclick at DreamHack cannot be missing. Things actually went quite well for him and his team there, probably just too well. To win the match, all he had to do was kill the last player and defuse the bomb. The first part of that worked well too, but what happened next no one could have guessed. He fat-fingered his W button and ran right into the molly in front of him. This unfortunately burned him and caused him to lose the round. Unfortunately, that caused Splice to lose the round and the series to go into overtime. They then lost that as well and were eventually knocked out of the tournament. Top 1. This brings us to our first place, and for that we finally return to the TI. In the match between Rattlesnake and Quantic, things were actually going well for Quantic. Rattlesnake was just about to retreat and Sakshka had actually set up a perfect flank. All he had to do was make sure his Stormhammer hit pretty much every opponent except Boar. With that misclick, Quantic still lost the game, but at least it also earned Sakshka the title of Boar Destroyer.
He's hunting every man now. Every man is gonna be this game. He's stunned the boar. Oh, if you're a rattlesnake.
That was our top 10 video of the week. What was the worst misclick that has ever happened to you? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. See you next week.